My name is Vitor Trindade. I'm the second clarinet of the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra, and I've joined in October 2019. I am from Portugal. I was born in a little village, a little fisherman village near Lisbon called Ericeira. So I started learning the clarinet at my hometown's wind band, because in Portugal, each little hometown has their own wind band that everyone plays in and learns their instruments there. So that's where I started. And then I joined a conservatory when I was about 12 years old, I think. And then after I finished my undergrad in Portugal, I got accepted into the Colburn School for artist diploma. And then I got my job at the BSO. I actually did not choose the clarinet. When I told the wind band from my hometown that I wanted to join them, they just gave me a clarinet because they needed people to play the clarinet. And since I was a very, very small 10-year-old, I actually started with the E-flat clarinet, which is the smallest clarinet in the family, because my fingers would just go through the rings of the big clarinet. One of the things I love the most about the clarinet, it's its ability to blend with every other instrument in the orchestra. The clarinet can just fuse the sound with any other instrument and then come out whenever we want, and I think that's amazing. And it helps us play with each other. It's really good. And another thing I love about the clarinet is how quiet it can play. It's one of the instruments that can play the quietest. And sometimes we get those beautiful moments where the clarinet emerges from nothing. The lower register of the clarinet, or the chalumeau, as people call it, is really rich, warm, and beautiful. So I'm going to play a couple notes just so you can see. The next register is probably my least favorite one, and it's one of the hardest ones in the instrument. It's our throat register. And since we don't put any fingers down for it, the sound isn't as rich or full. It's a bit held back. So I'm going to show also. So which is nothing compared to this one. Is usually where most of our orchestra solos are written, because it just soars beautifully in the hall and it requires no effort from the clarinet player. It's a very good register too. And then we go to the altissimo register, which is, it's really hard to have beautiful, warm sound in it, because it just sounds so strident. The higher you go, especially on the B-flat clarinet, it's a little more strident, and it's good for playing loud, crass passages in the orchestra. The A clarinet, since it's a little bigger, I don't know if you can see. This one is the A one. It's a little bigger, and the bore is larger too. So the sound is way warmer, and it never gets that strident quality that I said the B flat had earlier. But it's also harder to project because of that, and the agile passages also are a bit more heavy, because the whole instrument is heavier sounding. So the part is definitely amazing, like most smaller parts. The clarinets always have such great moments where we get to have our little fanfares, almost mocking the trumpets, and then just lyrical, beautiful moments. And one of my favorite moments in this symphony is that actually the E flat solo at the end of the first movement, because usually E flat is meant to sound like mean or making like it's making fun of things. So in this moment, it's just this beautiful ascending thing that takes us to heaven, and it's just who knew the E flat could do that. So one of the first very iconic moments of that symphony for the clarinet is in the second movement, where we just finish off that first sentence and it goes. It's just such a funny little part and so idiomatic for the clarinet. One of the biggest challenges of the clarinet is the intonation, because it's such an imperfect instrument, because our harmonic series is not the same as many other instruments. So some of our notes are just so out of tune, and no clarinet is built perfectly nowadays because it's so unpredictable. So something every clarinetist struggles with and practices on is his intonation, because it's just so wildly different in the different registers also. So building our embouchure is also a big part of learning the clarinet, because it's the only thing that connects us to the instrument. It's our air and our mouth. And with our mouth, we need to be able to put in the air we want to put in and not just something at random. So that's something that takes a lot of building too and some years.